Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel, where you can always get the latest information about XRP. To help you grasp why XRP is not a security, I will analyze the SEC's primary argument against Ripple. Earlier today, I had the chance to discuss the SEC's classification of XRP as a Ripple security with a former employee of the agency. I think I can show in this video that the SEC has a fundamental misunderstanding of XRP. To further assure you that XRP will never be considered a security, I'll explain why that isn't the case. Interesting, to say the least. I also want to include a Chris Larsen bit I missed at the end of the video. Since it will lay out the bullish case for XRP so eloquently, you will realize that we are investing in a technology that can completely destroy our current financial system. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It won't take long, and your assistance will be greatly appreciated. So with that out of the way, let's get started, and I really hope you find this material useful. To kick off this video, I'd like to dispel the most common misconception about XRP held by the SEC. I learned this while having a conversation with Mark, a former member of the SEC. Keep in mind that despite his past employment with the SEC, Mark is not a horrible person. In a word, this dude is badass. He's also one of the few people who's up for having a reasonable conversation about it. After watching the video, please refrain from making any further comments to this individual. He's providing precisely the service we require, and his efforts will prove invaluable to the industry as a whole as they help us decipher the state of the market. These challenging discussions require people's active participation. Mark and I have a basic question that hasn't been fully discussed. Do they, the SEC, consider XRP to be a security? Or is the SEC's claim limited to the fact that Ripple presented XRP as a security? If the SEC's argument rests solely on the fact that a small number of Ripple transactions in the past were structured similarly to those of securities, then it may have a point. Even bringing it up gives me the willies. However, Ripple has historically offered XRP for sale via option contracts. Explaining why Ripple really should have reported. Some of those deals are easy to understand. Now it's your turn to rebut that, Ripple. Not possible to keep track of those sales. No worries here. However, the reason this case hasn't been resolved yet is because of. Now we need to figure out how Ripple could have made those sales in the first place. Did they actually find an answer? That was it, right? How big of a penalty do you think Ripple deserves for neglecting to report these transactions? But a slap on the wrist is just a smack on the wrist, and Ripple is pushing forward anyway. Last but not least, it's a constant annoyance when doing business with the SEC. You can move on with the settlement, knowing that the company will be punished and that the violations will be addressed. The SEC's potential effort to label XRP as a security is more pressing. Ripple's business model cannot operate in the US now that XRP is a security, so this is a much bigger issue. Given how often I've seen John D. make that claim, you could assume that the SEC is trying to designate XRP as a security. I can absolutely understand and agree with that assessment. Others in the legal community, however, disagree and hold that the SEC is not making such an effort. It has been speculated that the SEC included that in an effort to exert pressure on Ripple and add some bite to the complaint. Therefore, we'll pretend, for the sake of this video, that the SEC is trying to classify XRP as a security, even though I think the SEC's case falls apart at that point. It's the silliest problem, but it might have serious consequences for XRP and Ripple investors. As I've already mentioned, a fine and settlement would suffice to end this matter if it were limited to the fact that Ripple failed to properly record some purchases. But I don't think that's the case at all. Going forward, we will treat XRP potential classification as a security by the SEC as if it already exists. So, why can't XRP be considered a security by the SEC? Why do certain people, including Mark, classify XRP as a security, anyway? Well, Mark and I had a wonderful conversation in which we really addressed our perspectives, and there is one key difference between our perspectives. The major issue is that Mark thinks Ripple, the company, is the only reason XRP has any value. But if that were the case, I'd agree with Mark that XRP is a Ripple security in almost every respect. Mark is of the opinion that XRP has zero value outside of the Ripple ecosystem. Not only that, but the value of XRP is the foundation around which Ripple builds its product roadmap. I think Mark's major problem is that he doesn't understand the XRP Ledger is a distributed database. Calling XRP itself a security while neglecting the fact that it has independent utility outside of Ripple is a major problem because it is not a property of Ripple and would continue to function even if Ripple ceased operating tomorrow. And how do we know this? Since its inception in 2012 or 2013, XRP has been a vital component of the network's decentralized structure and effective functioning. There can be no transactions on the XRP ledger without XRP. Consequently, XRP is crucial XRP infrastructure. Since there is no longer a need for Ripple, the XRP can be used independently by anyone. Since 2013, the XRP has processed hundreds of millions of transactions each year. It is a fact of life. Whether or not you think these exchanges are beneficial, that is obviously helpful. They're being added to the XRP ledger because other users do so as well. This is currently impossible to do without XRP. XRP is essential to the operation of the XRP ledger. Therefore, what Ripple does with XRP is completely beside the point. Hundreds of millions of transactions have been processed on the XRP ledger since 2013. Since XRP value exists apart from Ripple, it cannot be considered a security, regardless of whether Ripple had a use case for it or not. And this is precisely what Mark and others like him have failed to grasp. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that I can use the XRP ledger outside of Ripple. You don't need Ripple to use the XRP ledger. The most crucial aspect of this scenario is missing, and it is something I need: XRP. Since a security cannot have intrinsic value, XRP cannot be a security of the Ripple company. The value all by itself, apart from Ripple. Since jewelry companies use gold and silver for different purposes, their value is not correlated with that of XRP Ledger because of the decentralized nature of the XRP Ledger. Gold and silver are not just valuable in the jewelry industry. As regards XRP, in the same way, the major point and, more importantly, the fundamental misconception that I don't think the SEC is appreciating is the significance of securing the XRP ledger outside of Ripple's corporation. Cases like this falsely imply that Ripple's business is essential to the functioning of the entire XRP system. This is the primary argument against considering XRP a security. Mark refuted my claims by noting that the vast majority of Ripple's Twitter followers had expressed a want for the value of their XRP holdings to rise. But in the end, it makes no difference. This is an age-old issue. How often do tweets discuss the rise and fall of gold and silver prices on Twitter? The same thing happens every time. Simply because investors are purchasing an asset does not make it a security. The SEC's filing of this case is essentially nonsensical, as is evident, and this is the main issue. It might be argued that Ripple should have recorded sales of XRP in the same way that gold miners might sell gold using a technique that meets the definition of a security. You can also say that the oranges we sold were structured as a security. The gold and oranges, however, were not transformed into securities. The SEC made a mistake in this case because of the fundamental misunderstanding that XRP is managed by Ripple. XRP is a crucial part of the distributed XRP ledger. This litigation, and the SEC's attempt to prove that XRP is a security, will never stand up in court because of this very reason. To wrap up this movie, here's a fantastic Chris Larson snippet. I've never seen anyone claim that XRP won't be a major factor in the future of our financial system. Take note of this. Wow, that's fantastic. There is undeniably a great deal of communication going on between nations, and many of them do have rapid payments. Nonetheless, the United States has a lot of room for improvement and is probably going to take advantage of those opportunities. Everything seems to be moving along normally. It's going to take a while. There are many people who need to be appeased, but I think there is greater potential for progress among nations. To reiterate, there is no such thing as a global monetary switch or value transfer internet. The only way around this is through this system of correspondent financial linkages, which is ultimately controlled by only 5 or 6 global money center institutions. In turn, this necessitates inconveniently slow and expensive cross-border communication channels for high-tech financial institutions like KBS. You'd like to see technology, like a fighter, that allows Pointer to have direct communication with a little bank in Germany. We also think that once these decentralized platforms are in place, the internet may finally serve as a platform for the exchange of value. That is the real progress that has been made in recent years. Bitcoin is undeniably the proof that this technology can confirm transactions without a trusted third party. Yet, you can still put that to use in the present. There is no longer any need for a middleman or carry fees when one bank has to talk to another. Therefore, it will merely be a rail, used by anyone like HTTP. In particular, allowing all correspondent banks to use that train rather than just 5 or 6 will lead to a terrible rate that will spread across the system. But now any company, organization, individual, or even a foreign exchange fund in Hong Kong, London, or New York can post bids and offers on anything on that channel. It's all over today. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.